Ted, we were talking about what we wanted to talk about today. What was it?
Well, there's a real question. A lot of us who've studied this, and people that I know who have studied it, have a lot of question whether there's really any government at all in North America, at least North America, that they're really corporations, and that even from the beginning, it might be that we were free and they weren't governments even after that point. Nothing that was legitimately following any of the of seemingly the legitimate the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence, or nothing that would make us have anything more than corporations acting under the color of law, but that in essence we had our ties cut to England completely. So I tend to believe that for one reason or the other that we don't have anything that's really a government. But
so if you believe that we were free in the beginning, and let me just extrapolate on being free in the beginning. We fought a war. Well, a lot of people don't know, but we had a Revolutionary War in the 1700s, and we actually won. And under the law of nations, which governs all nations, if you fight a war and you win, the victor gets the spoils. And so we won this country free and clear. And that made all the people in this country free. And to move on that, the King George of England signed the definitive Treaty of Peace in 1783 after the Revolutionary War, and in this he gave everything to the people. He gave everything, not to a government, not to an entity, but he gave it to the people. And he says in here, it's actually interesting because there are different rules for this. It says it's agreed that the people of the United States will have be able to fish, have everything. But he gives different rules for inhabitant and the people. So the inhabitants of the United States were the ones that maintained all their rights and had free stuff. And the people of the United States, the people of the United States had unbridled right to everything in the United States. The inhabitants of the United States didn't have as many. So obviously he considers two classes of people when he did the Treaty of the United States, which is baffling to me because I don't know that we had two types of people. But he did.
Well, if we had won a war over them, that could have been the instrument of making us two different classes of people, because the Indians hadn't fought against the British.
So you believe the native people might have been the inhabitants?
Well, I'm just considering that might have been the two.
Well, the inhabitants didn't have as many rights as the people, but the people had all the rights and all the land. It belonged to the people of the United States. And we had the Northwest Ordinance. I've got this government printing book that shows the 4 organic laws, and God, I don't know what happened to it, but did I loan it to you maybe?
No.
I obviously loaned it to somebody and didn't get it back, and it's a big book. And anyway, it shows the 4 organic laws of the United States of America. The 4 organic laws are, we can't go over these enough, Declaration of Independence, Confederation, what is that? Confederation thing? Articles of Confederation, agreements between the 13 colonies, the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, and the Constitution of the United States. So those are the 4 organic laws. That means that any law that is on this land has to be in compliance with those 4 organic laws. It can't be outside of it. So something has happened that it appears this government is considerably outside the 4 organic laws, right?
Yes, I think that's true, and I might just mention that this is actually some of the things we're talking about right now that are kind of outside the scope of the book. That I don't think you covered a lot of this area of the potential of our being independent from the very beginning, but kind of assumes at least.
I didn't.
Well, I don't remember.
I'll have to write another.
What are plans for that now, maybe?
Okay. Yeah, it can be, but what I do cover in the book is Education Will Set You Free from the IRS, is the book, which is on my website, educationwillsetyoufree.com. What I covered in the book and what I really meant to convey to people is beliefs and reality and fear. Because we are people of beliefs. If you don't believe that, look at the political discussions going on the television now. Insane what people believe, but it's all very heartfelt because it's beliefs. Beliefs are very real to people. It's their ideology. It's their mannerisms. It's the things they do. It's the way they behave. It comes from how they believe. Now, we have also discussed the fact that people think they own stuff and they don't. Well, I'm going to say today that they really do. But the thing that's keeping them from the ownership is their belief that they owe somebody else. The Northwest Ordinance deals with the territories, not in the colonies, but the territories that were ceded to the United States by the Paris Peace Treaty, by the king. And those might be out of sequence because one is 1787 and one is 1783. So the peace treaty was before, and it ceded all the lands to the people. The Northwest Ordinance says those people living in the territories that were ceded to the United States by King George, when they own a land, a piece of property, they own it in fee simple. In fee simple. You know what fee simple is?
I think I do, just the words and etymology and syntax.
Do you believe it to be?
I believe that's a worst case scenario. Well, no, or the best case scenario as it turns out, because the other assumes the validity of the 10 square miles thing of the federal government.
We're not going on that validity.
That's right.
Okay. So the fee simple means you own the sucker.
That's right.
With all the rights that are inherent in the ownership of property. You own it all. And that's in the Northwest Ordinance. It says that the estates of the people in the territory, how they can be passed on. The estates, which would be the land you owned and the property you owned, that you held in fee simple, means nobody else has a claim on it. It's yours. Were passed, it tells how they were passed on, and they go not to the state, but to the children and the progeny of the people that own the land.
Has that been upheld, like in the court system?
This is the law, baby.
Well, not that the federales necessarily believe in the law.
This is the law. This is the organic law of the land.
Well, let me ask again. Do you think that
I haven't studied the case
case law?
opinion.
Okay.
Case opinion.
Opinion on it.
The case of, I haven't studied